Hi, my dearest. I realized that I did not record a video in a while, so I decided to do it. However, I am not sure that I am going to publish this one after I recorded it. But I decided I will give myself an update, and if it works, I will upload it. And so I do greet you. So I have been studying, as you know, in my clinical mental health counseling program, and I'm happy to report that it's only 4 weeks until I'm done. I have been seeing clients, about 10 clients a week, which is considered to be not a lot. Professional mental health counselors see about twice as many, which I think is tremendous number because you have to build relationships with all your clients, and to me it's difficult. To me it's even building 10 relationships. It's like, oh my god, I am giving all of me, all of what I have to give to the people. And so to imagine that you can have 20 relationships like that and you are giving all of yours to 20 people, to me it's really difficult right now. But who knows, maybe later I will be able to be okay with that. So that's one thing. Another thing is that I have to begin considering whether I'm going to stay in Texas and practice in Texas, or I have to move to New York. As you probably know, I have been living in New York for 2 years now, and I did my internship in Texas. So in Texas, you have the right to start your own private practice right after graduation, but unfortunately, it's not the case in New York. I found an amazing psychotherapist in New York who agrees to be my supervisor and who is ready to hire me. But I do wonder if that is something I need to do, or rather I have to be in Texas. So if you have any sort of insight for me, always grateful to listen to you. So these are two of my pieces of news. And the third one is that I must admit that I'm experiencing the symptoms of burnout, which is ironic considering that I even made a presentation on burnout for people in helping professions. And now, barely 1 year into the practice, the year of internship, I'm experiencing burnout myself. That sucks, frankly. That's not what I counted on. That's not a pleasant situation. However, I'd be lying if I did not admit it. So, my usual strategies of self-care seem to be not working, and I revised them and figured out that some of my self-care practices are more like, just another chore or another kind of difficult work. For example, I write, right? So I write poetry, I write prose. All of these self-help practices are in fact work. When you're writing, you have to revise it. Sometimes you look at your writing and you are disappointed or you are frustrated by how talentless you are. So all of these things are not really taking care of self. So what is taking care of self? To me, it's not a lot of practices of people that I can indulge in. For example, I don't want to watch a lot of shows and a lot of films because I either get annoyed easily or I get nervous. When there is suspense, I can't help but being nervous and like hide under the sofa and things like that. So, what else to tell you? That was like 4 points, I think. The fifth point is that the war that is unfolding between Ukraine and Russia, with Russia attacking Ukraine, is of course on my mind. That is something that I will never stop thinking about. As you can imagine, this is not something pleasant to think about either. Even though the war fell out of the news feed for the most part, It's in fact intensifying. Russia is sending more and more drones into Ukraine and upping the attacks. However, Ukrainians continue violently fighting off Russia, and there is a tremendous number of tremendous death that is visited upon both countries, but of course only one country is responsible for that, and that country is Russia, because Russia attacked Ukraine. I could also share with you that this situation with the war is still perceived by my Russian relatives as something infinitely far from them. I don't think they think about it nearly as much as I do. Recently, one of my relatives was speaking about another relative who lives in Kiev, that relative wants to move to Kazakhstan, but is afraid to move through Turkey or any other third country. And that news was given as if outside of the context of war, as if this is just a desire of a person to travel for her own amusement or whatever, which of course it is not. It is directly influenced by the war. So that makes me incredibly annoyed, makes me very angry and upset, and I am already beyond the brink of stopping talking to my relatives in Moscow. But I don't totally sever the connections with them, because as an immigrant, you will experience a certain share of isolation and loneliness. And so to cut ties with Moscow people, it does not particularly add anything to my life. So here I am right now, and I'm glad I recorded this video for myself and hopefully for you. Nothing of universal meaning, but still an update on a tiny human life that is lost in the jungle of New York. Bye bye.